Alright, muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano pazimunyozi update apo patinoda kupa ma first hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So according to Comrade Soko vanoshandira vari military intelligent vazotiudza chokwadi kuti Mnangagwa vainge vakafambirei kuenda kuBelarus pawakabuda vasina kuoneka muri yeZimbabwe vachinzi vakabuda negoridhe rakati wandei. Mnangagwa vari kunzi vakaenda kunogadzirisa cheya yegoridhe kuBelarus. Tisingazozivi kuti zvinenge zvakamira sei, ndosaka muri kuona pavakadzokera muno munyika yeZimbabwe vachibvunzwa nana Ruben Barwe vanova vari vanoshandira ma-state medias ana Radio Zimbabwe. So tiri kuona kuti vakabvunzwa mibvunzo yakasiyana siyana vachitaura iwo kutoti no, zvinhu izvozvo zvori kundibvunza handitori nazvo because handina nguva yekuti ndikabuda ndichitaurira munhu wese kuti ndaakubuda ndaakuzodii, but ndo zvagara zvichingoitika kubva kudhara muri yeZimbabwe kutoti president kana achibuda pana patori nemafotografu ema-state medias achitosvika kunyika ingatosvika iyo ma-state medias anonga vatoriko chimwa chivapa pa-red carpet. Ndo zvatinoziva muri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona futi chinoratidza kuti ichokwadi because tiri kuona kuti pavakadzoka vakati vakuda kudestroya oro, hatisi kuzoti palace ida kuwakiwa pamwe panhu here kana kuti pada kutodestroyiwa state house iya yakavakwa nevarungu yanana Smith yaigawa nana Smith yakazogarwa navaMugabe yavari kugara pari zvino. Vakati vada kuidestroya kana kuti vada kuwaka palace yeumambo because vakanonyatsototaura kuti mambo kana achinge abuda munyika haana nguva yekuoneka munhu. Chinova chiricho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti zvinhu hazvinomira zvakanaka. So tiri kuona Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 yaifanira kupasiswa nezuro. Tiri kuona vaMnangagwa vakati vachazoipasisa muna basi. Tiri kuona kuti mamwe ma-MPs vakuita vachidududza kudzokera kumashure nemari because tiri kuona kuti ma-MPs aya muri yeZimbabwe vanhu vakapindira mari. Makaona vanhu vachita zvematonge venyika zviya zvokuti kwanzi ndoda kuzodai so vanhu hakuna zvinhu zvakadaro muri yeZimbabwe hakutomborina vanhu vanonga vachipindira mari. Tiri kuona kuti pakakatwa ma10,000 ayana bhospara ada kubva kunana Chivhayo. Tiri kuona kuti wakuda kudzokera kumashure nendawo yeConstitutional Amendment Bill number 3 rikuda kuti ringe richipasiswa. So tira kuti tipinde munhau wayava Nelson Chamisa muri yeZimbabwe. Kune vari kuwasaidhira nevamwe vari kuwamoka kutoti no, zviri kutaura Nelson Chamisa hazvisiriri izvo because tiri kuona kuti kune maaudios akalika vachitaura vachishoropodza vamwe vavo wekuopposition vachiti ndini ndakachibata kuti ndini ndakarova mabreak ese hapana kana ane mandate kutoti ivo vari kutemba kutoti vane chaunga, but chaunga chacho chakuita chichipera muri yeZimbabwe. Rekezetizo makomrade achitaura but nongoti kana uri musasa panosina kusubscribe, kulike nekushare
has been attacked in that audio. So I went to listen to at least the shortest. I actually wanted to comment when the full was released, but I see that we're having a conversation with the short one. I went to listen to the short one, and I was listening there, and I hear President Chamisa talking about the question of mandate, to really say who has sent you to do the thing that you're doing. I personally don't see that as an attack. It's a question that must be asked to anyone who wants to be a representation of, or to be representative of society, that whose mandate do you have? Not just to Timber, it must be asked to BT, it must be asked to Timber, it must be asked to Chamisa, it is even asked to Nelson, to Emerson Mnangagwa. That's why his mandate is also a disputed question in Zimbabwe today, because people are saying, who sent you to be the president of Zimbabwe? And we know there is a dispute which went to court and people disagree with the judgment of the court, because why? People cannot be represented by a person they did not give the mandate. So that question people must not feel attacked when they are asked, who gave you that mandate? What I saw there is that now the name Timber comes in. For me, it was just sort of an example that is being used than an attack, or it could be the name that was in the question. That's why I then asked and I said, as journalists, it will be unfair to give people tears that don't have context, because maybe the question was directed to a specific person. That's why that particular name came out. Because I wonder, why was the name Timber used and not probably Matuku's name? Probably Matuku's name was not in the question. That's why I wanted the question and the answer, so that I can see why specifically Timber is coming in and not other names who are also participating. So we must not then shy away from asking people the question of mandates. You know why, Ango? Those of us in Zimbabwe can tell you this CAB3 debate and arguments and protests and so forth is a Twitter conversation. It is not on the ground. The ground is completely dry and different. Why? because we have a problem of forums, political parties, movements that are formed on Twitter and in Harare, and they don't have the mandate of our people. And we must not shy away from saying that because it makes us unpopular or people have fragile egos, they don't want to be talked to. There's no movement today that is ZANU-PF wakes up today and when I want to tell you from Zimbabwe now. If ZANU-PF today wakes up and gives people a referendum and say, let's go for a referendum, the opposition might lose. It's not organized. People are not properly put in structure. People are not conscientized. There's no movement on the ground. And people are here on Twitter talking nonsense here, becoming celebrities on Twitter. And when those things are raised of mandates, they act like, hey, you're attacking me, you're attacking me. When we don't care about you. It's a question that every public leader who wants public service must be asked, beginning with Emerson Mnangagwa. Where did you get the mandate to lead Zimbabwe? They must answer that question. And also must be asked, whose mandate are you relying on when you're saying those things? Why? It is only when leaders are asked of mandate that they will care about people. Other than that, they'll care about social media content and pretending as if their forums are the most special things when on the ground we know young people and old people are not. This CAB3 thing, it's a Twitter thing. We can tell you that. So when MC raised that, for me, I was like, well done. At least you are raising an important issue. You are detaching our politics from the elitist politics that has taken over, the social media hashtag politics that has taken over when the ground is dry, when we know the majority of the people of Zimbabwe are not on Twitter. The name Timber being used there, I did not see that as an attack. We grew up in the EFF, people would name you, people would talk about you. This thing of just saying when your name is mentioned, you feel attacked. That is also some political braggadociousness that is not necessary. Your name is going to be mentioned. You are Timber was a senator. He's a senator. He's a public leader. He must be mentioned. If we don't mention him, who do we mention? It shows that he is important in the discourse of politics of Zimbabwe. He must be mentioned. I worry when people come here with their fragile egos and feel like their names can be mentioned. They must be mentioned. So that's number one for me. I noted that. Then the second thing is that if Timber was being attacked, Nelson in that video went on to say, at least you can say I was a member of parliament for Mount Pleasant, donating a case study of mandate to him. Actually, it in that video because Timber was a member of parliament of Mount Pleasant before, and you can say at least this because. So how is he being attacked yet he's being told he's given a case study to reference his credibility, why he's doing the things that he's doing? How is that an attack? There's no attack there. But they are just people with fragile egos who think everything is about themselves, want to confuse the nation all the time and create political conflict because they are on a campaign to decampaign Nelson and trump up their candidates. But this is not the time, and we are not going to listen to that. So and also the word mandate does not necessarily, because some people are saying, hey, mandate, so you want us to be elected? Yes, we know he got 2 million votes, but mandate does not necessarily mean an election. We can appoint you to lead. For example, Timber can say, DCP people appointed me and gave me a mandate to lead what I'm doing. It's a mandate. Certain people gathered and formed the DCP.
Oh, Charlene?
Right. Are you still there?
No, he's not.
No, I can see.
Padari ndamufonera kuti akatike. I suspect that.
All right. Anyway, the guy don't know that connected, but in other news, Chigananda just sung some cards. I'm a quick. So go rino.
Chigananda chipi ango Gerald.
Weekend asung some cards soldier.
Ku South Africa.
Ayo mono. I mean, ngikuani ku Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe ndiye police commissioner. He's the magistrate. He's the judge. Nabase. Aiwa.
But anyway, Charlene, come through. Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Nandafunga kuti ndarohwa mabhoikane zvandataura because haugari kaka uchitaura zvinhu zvinobvisa.
I don't do that.
Okay, thank you.
No,
so I was saying,
and I wouldn't do that.
Timber, thank you. So Senator Timber can say, GC people gave me a mandate to do what I'm doing. There's no attack there. Or you can be appointed. It's a mandate. People can. people who love
Right. Right. Are you right? I'm losing you. With the in and out, in and out. Hello? Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm not sure what is going on. Can you try one more time? Let's see one more time. And then kana tikafela ndongokumbira kuti muende pane network iripo, and then I get others to come through. But anyway, all right, I'll wait for you to request. But Cloman, do you want to come in the meantime?
Thank you, Uncle Jez. Hope you're good.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thanks. I just wanted to say, which agree zvataurwa napadare. But I think for the first time, do not agree and I, because I think a lot of us people we are hiding our heads in the sand. We can't say it's not Nelson Chamisa on that audio. It's Nelson Chamisa, and that's one of the biggest problems. From people who have known Chamisa for so long, maybe most of us on different levels. But I think I would pose a question to those that are saying it's not him. My question would be, Chamisa started a political life yake never know this. Where are those people? Majority of them is abandoned them, and my story is that he throws his people under the bus. Vanatafazwa Msekiwa, Vanajob Sikala, Vanabiti, all these guys, they've gone. I think Mnangagwa mkazi wekutanga akadivorce atogona kuti asvataza kushanda. Wechi2, amen. Wechi3, wechina, wechi5, panenge pane nyaya. So there's something that is so wrong with projection yaChamisa politically. My view, ndeyekuti Mukomana first terrible mistake he made. Left us people who voted in the last election for him in limbo. I feel that he threw us under the bus as voters. Jenson Timber has fought and lost his business for the opposition and all that kind of stuff. So many people have lost their lives, limbs, and stuff like that. What people are asking for is leadership. Here's the reason why Chamisa is scrutinized every day, 24/7, because he's still hanging on there. At the same time, he's saying, I was out. We need a leader at this moment, but the leader that we want, the people's favorite, is Nelson Chamisa. He's not coming. He has been, each time there's something that is happening, he comes out and says, behold the new, and he's not coming. Since last year, part one, we've been hearing him saying this mantra, which I'm here, I'm going to do this way, this. But ZANU-PF and the looting of our country continues. It's not stopping. They are not stopping. In the absence of leadership, we will find ourselves in this situation. I don't blame Timber for coming out and trying to give us leadership where it's lacking. The only problem they go to Zimbabweans, we are doubting to move forward past Nelson Chamisa. That is the biggest problem that we have. And I know even the ones that I would also want to see come through, they are scared because they say Chamisa holds the fort. And for sure he does. Chamisa has got currency in the people. But here, Wachona, he's preoccupied with a lot of things that are happening in his personal life. Chamisa is in the US. But now people are now aware and people have accepted and moved on. But trying to turn a blind eye, Chamisa is in the US. He's not in Zimbabwe to show to give leadership where it's needed. Imagine if a husband disappears, or maybe I grew up in an era when Mozambique war was taking place. And I remember some of the things. Masoja enda for 6 months on rotation. Some of the guys vanga vaine vakadzi patime iyoyo vakaona dzimba dzapindwa nevamwe varume. Some of the things that we are talking about, kuti my MPs are in parliament have sold out. Some of them are not as strong as they are supposed to be. They also rely on leadership. Yeah, president your party. Imagine time which is ZANU-PF leader, ZANU-PF leader Emerson Mnangagwa is not as strong as he is. Vakumana vanenge vachita zvavanoda muparliament vachita sei. But because there is lack of leadership everywhere, whether in parliament, because we're finding our own parliamentarians that votera, they've gone astray because hakuna leader. Our own leader decided to abdicate his position and they were left in limbo. There was no leadership. So the Timber guy is moving in to do something. I don't want the constitution to be tampered with. Our own leader, Nelson Chamisa, is not there. He's not saying anything. That's what we are asking for. Let's not defend the indefensible, guys. Kana zvakona, kana atadza. But people on the ground are looking at it, Kutiga. You know, to be honest with you guys, Chamisa is losing credibility by the day. There is another thing that I just want to say. I've said it, Uncle Jez, before. Kuti, there are some people you need to be very careful of. Don't trust a journalist. No matter who they are, you don't trust a journalist.
Yeah.
Because anongotaura zvamataura muchiti zvomutaura in confidence anoenda achinoita se onozvipublish. That's how it is. There are certain people on this platform that I've said, but there are certain people that I would want you to go and say certain things. The same Bambiswa who comes recording you. There will be Linda Masara who will come and record you. Musomunongo Sikana Konzi. Hopo does that as well. Musomunongo Sikana Konzi. Boom. Chabuda. Akazodai. So those are things that people like Nelson Chamisa needs to be worried about.
Right.
People, he must have a person, I think she's the chief of staff. But the chief of staff wakoka, gango issue mama statements are budisa ayaka. Iyan gonna go, this is the chief of staff, but it is not in the but we never wonder uri somewhere there. Because that's your first gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
People in leadership blunder. We know we give him room to blunder, but I think my blunders are not so in Chamisa. I want this. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Komasalin, do you want to come through?
Yes.
And then I move on, to the next.
Yeah. So let me conclude. So I was saying the issue of the mandate I think is applicable to all. Our politics is detached from the ground. We can say whatever we want. The ground is not saturated. And that is important that we speak again about the mandate so that our people are involved in what leaders get to do. So I didn't find that to be an attack of what somebody's doing, but I actually found that to be a lesson to all leaders, himself included, Emerson Mnangagwa included as well, that we need to ask people, where did you get the mandate to lead? And we must never be scared of asking that question, and it must never feel like an attack to anyone. So that's for me was a point I was raising, which is number one. And also then secondly was to say that I also worry at how our media has become, that this is an issue that is very important, as you can all see. Everybody wants to know, and then they just release a shot there, and then they put there, and then you don't have a question to say what was the question that was asked, because we can't just have the response of the guest minus the question that the host asked. Maybe in the question the name of Timber was there. So we are supposed to look at the question against the response that was given, and then look at, was this actually a response to a question, or this is just something a leader said, particularly which had nothing to do with what was happening. Which also brings me also to the ethics that we're talking about, Uncle, of your journalism, to say, I listened to that short. It doesn't even sound like an interview. It sounds like a conversation that people were having somewhere, and it's now converted to look like an interview. So there's a lot to be said around that, but also in terms of getting full context of things so that we understand, because there are people who are prepared to sow division in the alternative. to sow division and act like leaders they are there to decampaign the works of each other. When in fact, when you look at this thing, I don't see anybody being decampaigned at all. Then here also comes the point that we are not talking about Ango, a point here where people keeps on talking about members of the Democratic Alternative. Me, I don't really enjoy that thing because and people are talking about United Front and all these things. I feel like this is the unity that people just talk about, but people have not been open to really speak about things that did not go well. That's why there is a lot of pretentious nature of the alternative where people pretend to be together when they need each other. But look at the same people, what they were saying about the same leader Nelson recently. Opposition is dead as dodo, he's useless, he can't do anything, he's useless, he should just leave and leave somebody else to take over. But now they're back because it's needed. We are democratic alternative. That form of unity for me is fake. And the opposition in Zimbabwe must learn to actually have genuine unity if unity is there. And that unity, Ango, is not going to happen if the alternative continue to do reactionary politics of always meeting when the nation is burning. We need to see each other and have conversations to really people to air out their views and grievances. Because I also feel like ANC is going to go to interviews and critique certain people, not as people that is working with anymore, but critique what they're doing because he doesn't believe in it. But those people, when they hear it, they're going to say, why do you speak about us like that? We are together. But is there a togetherness here when we can see that there is no togetherness? This is just something created for the sake of looking united in front of a crisis. And unity can't happen that way. Unity is cultivated. So our leaders, I see people like Prince Tuweko, they are here, who have been these seniors, must meet and talk out things. Otherwise, you are going to hotspot hate to young people like us who are also growing into this politics and pretend to be united when you are not. So, another problem, even serious than CAP3 as well, is also this thing of pretentious unity that we are witnessing within the alternative when people are not clear. Right now, people are talking about a united front here and all these things. There's no unity that they're talking about. These people are bitter. Elections have been stolen. Parties have been captured. Sellouts have been there. Some people are receiving cars whom we thought they were at the forefront of the alternative. And all this, it's not united. So there is need for that kind of conversation so that when we talk about unity, when you use that word, progressive forces, my brother Ostalos like to use it, progressive forces, it must mean progressive. When we mean unity, it must mean unity, not pretension before cameras, because it's not going to work. It's going to be seen in statements. It's going to be seen now critique each other. So that thing for me, I thought was also a point. So in conclusion, my points are, for one, I don't see where Timber is being attacked. I only see where it's being asked of mandate, and that's not a Timber issue. It's a Nelson's issue, it's Emerson's issue, it's BT's issue. It's about anybody who wants to lead in public service. Mandate is important, and we must never shy away from that question. Number two, we are fighting CAB3, but there are people who are fighting each other using CAB3. That's why you see the conversation has not been about how do we defeat CAB3. It has been about who is speaking more, who is not speaking more, what is NC doing. And that's why NC is popular than CAB3, because he has been the focus with people trying to decampaign him and so forth, which is irrelevant to the conversation of CAB3. So we must never forget opportunists who always use moments to raise their dead political careers, which most of them cannot be resuscitated or resurrected. It's a point we must not shy away. Number three, the issue of pretentious nature within the alternative, where people pretend to be united when they are not. When people pretend to be united when at the back they are talking ill about a person and they come here to act like they love him so much when we know they don't. And then number four is around the ethics of media, to say media must not treat news like Zimtensol. This is an important issue and leaders are implicated. You come here with something called a teaser. You think we're here for entertainment. We're not interested in teasers here. Bring an issue and let citizens, you are daily news, report the news. Don't cut and give us reels of things that are not proper. Give us the question. What did you ask for him to talk about Timber? What did you ask? What was the context of that interview? This is not entertainment where you come here to give us teasers. People are bitter. People want to see change, and people are hearing leaders being talked about, and you come here with teasers. It's unfair and it's unfortunate on the side of of media. Those are my points.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyway, since they said it's a teaser, there's going to be the full interview that is going to be released. We are waiting, to hear the details or the full details in terms as well as responses to some of the questions that you are having, so that we understand the context, we understand the questions that were asked. Where this was it like a proper interview that had been set up, Chamisa knowing that he's going to Daily News and he's going to be interviewed by Daily, because one thing that was said by Ostalos here, he said Kutizo Daily News ne Herald Azvakusiyana azvanyosiyana saka baba it raises another question inini yandinge ndinayo kuti was he aware that he was going to Daily News, and what is his policy pertaining to these media houses, which the likes of Astolos are saying, they are more or less like, the Herald, which are more or less like ZANU PF, mouthpieces, stuff like that. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot. So we await that, to come through, and then to it further conversations if need be. But regarding the family bearing in Shidaiso, can I bring in Cheshingo into the conversation? Guys, there's one thing, that I also, want to say. Kana mshinge mapinda, don't raise your hand.